Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone. I say that because we got Mr. Boring here from Norway, so I got to make sure I cover everyone since you guys are all over the place. Welcome back to Bear's Workshop. We are here for the 222nd flyover of the Nikola site. And Tinky wants to know if I'm in the house. Yes, here I am. Here I am. All right. So today we do have the flyover. We've got some more construction updates. There's a decent amount of trucks out there. Adria says good night here. Adria, are you in Spain or something? Penny Machine is here. And iMelt says, I sound good. All right. Let's first take a look and recap the site, as I want to try and do every time. This is the site plans. This is the latest one that I have from January of this year. We are currently building this green section right here. And when I say we, not me. I'm not building anything. Oh, let me sit up so you guys can see me. All right. Maybe I should move my camera one day. Hey, Gigi. I hate to say it's Gigi, but I got a dog named Gigi. But it's Gigi. But woof. They're still working on this loop out here. They're putting on the barriers on the side. And Olivia said, what did I see that they announced? What did Nikola announce today? Because I saw that they put out information on a meeting. Let's see. What exactly are you referring to, Olivia? Please let me know, because I know that they put out a couple tweets. Anywho, they are working hard on this. We've got steel coming in. Walter66 asks how the weather is. The weather has been actually very wet for Arizona. This has been a really good monsoon season. We're getting rain almost every evening. Thunderstorms, lightning, and it's been pretty scary. My yard's gotten flooded numerous times. But overall, the wind hasn't been too bad. And when we get bad monsoons with wind, we get a lot of damage. Some of the sites, the Nikola site and the Coolidge site, at different times, the Lucid and the Nikola site, have both had a lot of water, standing water, but they've already got to the point in their grading where they've got all the retention, a lot of the retention basins in. So it hasn't been too bad. But a very wet and rainy monsoon for us this year. So as you can see, main areas that we're working on right here and the test loop, and that's what we're going to see today. Quick recap of the stock. 690 was the close, up 18 cents. High was 701, and it opened at 668 after closing yesterday at 672. Did get down to 638, but it obviously rebounded. And for those Lucid fans like Jason, who I saw was in the comments a little bit earlier, Lucid was up 17 cents, and that was after closing yesterday at 1876. They did get up to 1916. We'll go back to Nikola. So we're still waiting on some announcements from Nikola. I'm surprised we haven't had any, being that, we got through the second quarter earnings. They got the share issuance that they were looking for. So really was expecting some announcements, because I know privately I've been told that there's things that have happened, but they just haven't announced them yet. So we're just waiting. So let's go to the video. There we go. Got that started. Let's go over to this page. We got 40 people on, 56 people on, and 19 likes. That means we got some people who need to hit that like button. Please do that. ASAP, please, please. You can see the progress. That was May of last year, so quite a few things have happened. That was a rainy July last year, a sunny September, where they're laying down the floor on phase 1. November 15th, that was when they put out the cancer truck. There's a layout of the parking lot. You know that parking lot is full every day now, and that other parking lot they made is a secondary parking lot for overflow, which you can see right here where my mouse is, and that is full. They almost need another expansion on the parking lot. They've got these guys parking in the dirt right here, so technically that is full. And that's a temporary parking lot that was made only because they knew they were hiring more people than they could fit in there. Oh, okay. We're talking about the salary information. Yes, I did see that. Paying salaries of $450,000 to a couple of the top executives, and changing the stock bonus, or the if they had some plateaus. If they reached like 55 or 60 on the stock, they'd get bonuses, but that was lowered. That was removed and then lowered to 25. Let's see. Okay, well, we'll talk about the comments in a minute. We're flying over. Let's pause it right here. This is the new Phase 2 section. You can see the perimeter grade beam on the south side is completely done. It's working its way up to the east side. This right here, this area, is going to be where the next facade is going to be. They're working perimeter grade beam. We've got a utility room is going to be right here, and it looks like there's another one. It's going to be at the top. We'll get up there in a minute. You can see roof trusses have been laid out here. And also they've laid out a lot of equipment in here, which I'm not sure if this is all stuff that's related to the steel. But it looks like the steel is going to go up before the concrete floor does, which, I mean, I could be wrong on that. We'll have to see how that goes. The last section, they did the floor before they did the steel. But the previous section, they did the steel before the concrete. But they're laying out everything on there, so it makes me think that the steel's going in first. And coming up here on the right over here, and we're going to take a closer look at that. It looks like another utility room right off the side of the building. And then we've got all the roof trusses. We've got a truck right there that has a whole bunch on there. So that's all piling up on the sides. And haven't seen too much in the way of steel beams or anything. And they still have a couple of footings to do. Walter 66 is this area building for the FCEVs. To be honest with you, the whole area is FCEVs because they're going to go on the same production line. So the line that they have now, if they're capable of producing the FCEVs now on a production line, it would run on the same line. So everything is going to be on the same line. So yes and no. It's not specifically for the FCEVs, but it will be for the FCEVs as well as the BEVs. There's the utility building right there. You can see a lot of the pipes coming up out of the ground, and they're also working on the perimeter grade beam. They haven't poured the concrete for the footings yet because they probably have more utility work to do, and it might be easier if those aren't solidified in concrete yet. And here we go. We're going to go out to the test loop. Now, some of this stuff is hard to see. We still have one generator over here. They moved the other one, and there's 4 charging stations right there. And they started to the left. We're going to go around, and we're going to see where they've got a truck with equipment on it that is digging holes, and then they're dropping in the wood pilings, and then they fasten the guardrail to it. So they've got a crew that's been going around the entire test loop, and it's 1.5 miles. So it takes a little bit of time when you're putting these things in, probably every 8 feet or so. Probably less than that. But I've never measured the distance on those, so I have no idea. Penny Machine says, honestly, I didn't like to see that salary increase. Yeah, it was nice to see the fact that they were working for $1. It shows a lot more commitment. But at the same time, people got to eat, and having a little bit of income is not, well, a decent amount of income is not a bad thing. I believe that they are putting a lot of their life into this. So if you look closely, we're going to zoom in. Let me get on the right button. See, here's the guardrail that they're putting around. That's probably less than 8 feet. I wonder if we got a better picture of that. So we're going back and we'll zoom in. There's a guardrail right there. And they've already done this entire distance here. This whole thing is complete with the guardrail. Got another person from Norway on, Idar. This is a great program bear, doing an excellent job. Thank you, Idar. I appreciate that. Emil Regas, what about Lucid? We will have a Lucid video later today. We did do a flyover there. It won't be a live stream. Our live stream of Lucid will be on Thursday. Tinky asks, any more color around the new CEO and his ability to take us to the next level? Any feedback on the road performance of the trucks? I've only heard good things about the road performance of the trucks. My drive in it, as limited as it was, very smooth. I felt like I was in a Model Y. It had the sound, the feel, and the ride quality of a Model Y. So granted, it was just around the test track and then back. And as far as the new CEO, I've only heard good things about him. He's well traveled in a lot of different areas of the automotive industry. Not too well traveled because he still gets hired for very decent positions. So I don't think he has a bad reputation, but he does move around a bit. But this is also over 20 years, so it's kind of to be expected. It's nothing that unusual. Here we can see more trucks. There are a couple saleable trucks in here, and most of these are test trucks, but there are some that are labeled with the VIN numbers. And they're also still doing some testing. As we can see, we've got the trailers out there, and some of them have just weight on them, and some of them are just the box trucks. And you can see that one there is being worked on. Good thing they're not government contractors, because the guardrails would take much more time to put in. That is true. They'd probably get about 10 every 2 days. And we got Alex from the UK. Thank you, Alex. Here we can see all the cabs that they have out. And I didn't count them today. I think our last count was like around 130. There's another couple of trucks over there. These are also test trucks. They don't slap these stickers on the side. They're not stickers, but they're magnets, I think. They're probably not magnets because they probably wouldn't stick to them. So maybe they are stickers. These are Department of Transportation license numbers. When they stick them on the side of the trucks, those are usually trucks that are used for testing. So just to tell you how we're trying to figure it out. Gigi says, would expect to see many trucks outside given the full worker parking lot. Yes, we don't know what controls the production flow right now, what's slowing them down, if they're still in sort of a training process, learning how to get faster. We can see here there's a guy moving a cab around. Why? I don't know. I'm sure there's a method to this. Whatever they're doing, I'm sure they're just not moving the cabs around. We do see the cabs disappear from time to time, and then we have less. But yeah, that's how they move the cabs, little forklift, and then they move on. But there are definitely plenty of cabs, plenty of fifth wheel hitches, which is this right here. This is what goes on the back of the frame to hook up the trailers. These parts, there's wheels over here. These are brackets and things like that in those crates right there. And here's another shot of the other area with cabs. I imagine that sometime in the future they're going to have a place to store these, because you don't set up all these loading docks and then just put things in front of them. So I'm sure when the factory's built out, they'll have a place for something like this. And it still might be outside, just in a different place. They say the trucks can go to a max 75 miles per hour. Is there a reason for that cap on speed? I'm not sure. Maybe they've capped it at 75 because once you go over that, you're EV power draws are so high that it could really put things down in a bad way, or drain your energy too much to the point where, not that it's going to damage it, but you're just not going to get your range expectations. I also wonder, in regards to that, if they're going downhill at 75, will the regenerative braking just keep it at 75 at that point? Because they can go faster than 75, but there's got to be a reason why they've capped it at that. And my guess is just because it's going to be such a drain on the battery. I know when I take any one of my electric cars, usually over 70, I start running into, I can literally start seeing the needle, so to speak, of the EV just going down. I remember one of my first times going on a long trip. It was in a Model 3, and I was passing someone uphill in the mountains of Arizona, and I literally lost 20 miles passing someone. I had floored it. I reached 90, got around them, and I looked down. I was like, "Oh my God!" And the car literally came up with a warning that told me that I need to slow down, or I'm not going to make it to my destination. Fasal, thank you for the super chat. He says your message was retracted. I didn't even read it, but if you want to type in what you meant to say, I'll still read it out there for you. So, restricting the speed could be to help manage your electricity usage. Why does it look like much less has happened as far as moving cabs and trucks along? I just got on, so maybe you already answered this. I don't have an answer for that. A lot of the things now go on inside, so it's hard to see whether or not they've got 20 completed trucks inside. I know that they're at the end of the line, they have a QA area, and there's enough space for probably like 6 or 8 trucks there. So we could have trucks sitting in there. And plus there's the phase 1 area, which when I was in there was completely empty. So there could be trucks in there also. So it's hard to really say what's going on. We don't know if like new cabs are coming in and some are going and are going into the factory, and then new cabs are getting delivered. It's hard to say. Here we see 2 trucks coming back from a test run. You can see they got the weight on the first truck and the second one is empty. Could be a side-by-side comparison to see how much energy they use loaded. I don't know. I'm just making that up, but it could be. Alabama says no need to go over 75. It's speeding. There are some states that allow you to go over 75, but maybe not for trucks. So you might be right on that, but there are some states where you can go over 75, and I know somebody who's watching knows the answer to what states those are. Penny says, don't they have governors on all semis for safety purposes? I've seen trucks going over 75. There are governors on just about every vehicle out there. I've driven in cars where I've reached the governor, which is always kind of fun. But just about every vehicle has governors, and a lot of times they're governed. The speed that they govern you at is what your factory tire rating is rated for. For example, Cadillac Escalade, I got that up to the governor limit. I think it was 114, and then it just stopped me right there. And I got curious about it, so I looked it up and found out that the tires were rated for 114, and that's why they set the governor there. Now, I'm sure these tires are rated for much more than 75, but I can definitely see a reason to limit them because of the faster you go, you're using so much more electricity. Walter asks, what happens when you go downhill? The regenerative braking will kick in, and you will use a lot less power when you're going back downhill, and you can even gain power. I have seen that plenty of times going up and down the mountains in Arizona. You go up, you use more power than you normally would, and then when you go back down, you start seeing the regeneration work You've got your foot on the gas a lot less, and I think all the cars that I have show when your regen is actually working, and I'm sure the Nikola does too. And you can feel it. You can feel the regen in the vehicle. It's hard to explain, but it's almost like something's pulling you back, but you're not slowing down. When you learn to monitor it with your foot, you're able to adjust and increase what you need. But you will gain power going downhill. But you don't want to be going downhill over 75 with a tractor trailer. It's just, you can lose control. I wonder how much revenue Nikola will have in Q3 now. Well, my guess would be, I say they're going to make at least 60 trucks times 350,000. So I'm going to put that at 21 million plus a couple of mobile charging trailers that they're going to sell. So maybe if they get to the 60, which is their minimum goal, their max was 75. So I'll throw out there 25 million if I'm doing those numbers right. Yeah, 20. Yeah, okay. So 25 million. I think they'll probably get a little bit over 60. So does Nikola manufacture their own cabs? No, they do not. Iveco manufactures the cabs. They ship them over from Spain. Nikola finishes the assembly on the cabs, which includes things, the custom items, the things that say Nikola on them. I believe that they put in the seat belts, they put in the seats, they'll put in things on the dashboard, things that are custom to the Nikola truck as opposed to the Iveco S-Way, which is what this truck is based on. Daniel says Montana with the speed limit. I believe that you are correct. And I believe there's been pictures of the speed limit sign in Montana that was sent out to Elon Musk saying, hey, can you increase the speed of the autopilot? Because it was actually lower than the speed limit in Montana. So what is going to be the catalyst for actual sales of trucks? Are they waiting for road test information to come back? No, the trucks are for sale. It's going to be, they just need to be purchased. Letters of intent need to be turned into actual orders, which I believe they have in numerous cases. What's probably holding them up is the production rate, which by the end of the year, or by the beginning of fourth quarter, the plan is to be able to produce 5 trucks a day. They're not there yet. The last time I was told anything was that the line was moving every 4 hours. This was back in April, which would mean that they'd make 2.5 trucks a day. I don't think they're doing that right now. I think there were some more supply issues, but I'm just kind of guessing at that. I'm not in the know on that because production seems to have slowed down a bit as far as what we're seeing, but probably still on track to get their 300 to 500. Remember, they had 48 trucks delivered in the second quarter. Their goal for third quarter is 60 to 75. And in the fourth quarter, they say that they'll be at a run rate of 5 per day, which means that in the 8 weeks from November through December, they'll make 160. And that just leaves them needing to make 32 trucks. I think it was 30-ish trucks in October. The picture with the Saya, is that testing or a sold truck? I believe that is testing, and I don't know how to pronounce that trucking company's name. So Saya, Sayonara, I don't know. Is it easier to get a license to drive an EV truck than ICE, given there are fewer moving parts? I would imagine that there would be. If you were testing on an electric semi and you had to do the road test on that, I think it would be a lot easier because you're not doing things like shifting through 18 gears. So I think it would be a lot easier if you were road testing on that. In Europe, all trucks are governed to 55 miles per hour, so all the aerodynamics are designed for that speed. Maybe that's the reason of the speed limit. Possibly. I know that these trucks are not very aerodynamic as far as EVs go, and there is plans in the future to put more of a nose on this to get a better aerodynamic, a better coefficient drag, the CD, to get that number into a better shape. Does anyone know who might be the local vendor in the USA that Nikola plans to have build cabs so they don't pay huge shipping fees? I don't know the answer to that, and it may be that they use Iveco's designs and maybe build the cabs themselves. That's a possibility. The plans that I saw for the production line all involve this building with the extension, but they still have other buildings on the drawing board, and they could possibly produce those in that building. They have an area that's potentially a welding shop, and that could be for frames. Let's take a look at that real quick. Let's just flip around. Buildings 202, 203, and 201. So 201, this is future. This is phase 3. We are in phase 2 right now. So 201 is fuel cell manufacturing. So that's not going to be any cab stuff. 203 is welding, and 202 is paint and trim. Well, that kind of sounds kind of cabish. I think it can build a cab in paint and trim. So it could be that's going to be where they're going to eventually be doing it. But I don't think that they're going to keep getting items shipped across the world, because it doesn't. There is a lot of shipping and a lot of delays and a lot of things that you can have from that. That's a good question. Deluxe Music, why buy Nikola for $300K when you get Tesla Semi for $150K? Well, that's a good question, and to be really straightforward, it's not $300K for the Nikola, it's $350. But trying to be as honest as possible, I really don't think the Tesla Semi is going to come out for $150,000. It would be great if it did, if they can actually pull that off. But the cost for a Plaid is almost the same price as a Tesla Semi. But the amount of batteries that they need in a Tesla Semi compared to a Plaid, it's 100 kilowatt batteries in a Plaid. I think it's probably about 700 kilowatts in a Tesla Semi. Talking 7 times the amount of batteries, and the cost is the same. So I'm not sure how they're going to try and pull that off and whether it's actually feasible. That was a price that was announced 4 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago. So how are they going to possibly stay with it? I don't know. Maybe they will. Maybe they will for a brief time, just like the Model 3, and then just start raising that price up. There has been a lot of cost increases. Tyler, you're welcome for another video. Say ya. Thank you, Mr. Bogues. Say ya. I wish they'd spell it that way, I wish everything was spelled phonetically. So Deluxe Music, I hope that answers your question. I know it doesn't really, but if the Tesla Semi comes out at 150 and stays at 150, it's going to be a better value. It's going to have similar range, and it's going to be able to pull the same amount. So yeah, great if it does, but not great for Nikola. But we'll have to see what happens. JJ also, Tesla Semi doesn't exist. Well, it does exist, but Tesla realizes that the price is too low, and if they were selling them right now at 150, and the profit that they're going to make would probably be zero, why not take the same amount of batteries and make 10 Model Ys? They're using the 4680 batteries for the Model Y. They're using them for the Semi. You can make 10 Model Ys and make a decent amount of profit on both, on the Model Ys, on all 10 of the Model Ys that you're going to sell. So it only makes sense. Det Prez, hey Bear, I'm late to the gathering. What have I missed? Just running through the video for the second time. Just chit-chatting with everybody. Let's see, do you know why they chose the Euro sleeper cab instead of the Euro day cab or Euro small low roof sleeper? I don't know exactly, but I don't think they have a need for the low roof sleeper. I think they're starting with this cab over to begin with. just because it probably fit what they needed to do first to get this all developed the way that they need to. They will have the sleeper cab out soon enough, so, well, not soon enough, probably next year. Penny says there's no way to sell it for that cheap, especially not with the government incentives out there. They'd be foolish to do so. Yeah, with the government incentives, the Tesla Semi would be free in California and also in New York State. So if that's the way it was, it would be like, all right, I'll order every one of them. Then they're free, and then you could resell them if you want it for half the price. But I'm sure there's going to be something put in there about not being able to do that. Alabama, with the U.S. power grid already strained, putting thousands of electric trucks on the road will cause a lot of power grid problems. Pretty much incorrect. That is a theory out there, but it's not exactly true. A lot of these vehicles can be powered overnight when there is not any grid issues. Grid issues happen only during peak times, when there's a heavy demand for electricity. For example, midday on a summer, or in the wintertime when it's extremely cold out and everyone's running their electric heat, which is not very efficient to use electricity for heat, but a lot of places are set up that way. So more often than not, vehicles are charged off-peak times. I have 5 EVs. I have my on-peak times. During the summer, it's between 2 p.m. and 8 p.m. I never charge at those times. Not because I worry about the grid, but because they charge me more money. So I'm always charging off-peak. And as time goes on and more electricity is added to the grid, most of the electricity being added to the grid, the majority of it is now renewables. Obviously, no one's building a coal plant anymore. They do have peaker plants, which are going to come online during those high usage times, and those will supplement the electricity needs when the grid is being strained. But you don't charge during those times. The only places that really have problems with the power grid is places like California, because California long ago said, we're not building any more dams, we're not building any more nuclear, we're not building any more coal plants. So they put themselves in a bit of a bind even before EVs started coming out, because they had a limited amount of electricity that they could get, and were not expanding on it. So there's a lot more to that as far as straining the grid, but it's not an issue in most places. And if it's done right, and it's not very hard to do right, it's not that much of an issue. Enrique, hi Bear, from Madrid, Spain. In the city is where the cabinet has made for Nikola. Yes, the cabs are made in Spain. And hey, are you one of the people that make them? That'd be kind of cool. It was made the S-Way model Iveco too. Yes, this is based off the Iveco S-Way model. That is true. The lifespan of a semi is about 1 million miles. Batteries will have to be replaced more than once over the life of the semi. The FCEV does not have that problem. Well, the FCEV does still have a battery pack. It's just not as large. I don't think that the batteries are going to have to be replaced many times over the course of 1 million miles. I mean, it's possible that they will. I don't know what kind of warranty comes on these trucks as far as the battery packs, though Tesla's goal has been to make a 1 million mile battery, and maybe they've done it. It's hard to get to that point. It's just charging them and uncharging them. But the FCV still has a small battery pack and ultimately is run on electricity. Electricity that's created by the hydrogen, converted to electricity, and the truck goes. They just don't need the 9 battery packs that they have in there. Anyone heard anything about Toyota being interested in buying Nikola or investing in the company? Oh yeah, let's talk about that briefly. Toyota, and there was also FCA was mentioned being interested in buying Nikola. That there is no truth to that whatsoever as any type of reality. I mean, it could be happening, but the truth behind that is that there was a web page out that monitors the financial market and has a section for mergers and acquisitions. And they said that Nikola is in a good position to be bought out by a company like Toyota or FCA, which I thought FCA was bought out by Stellantis, but I think it said FCA. So that's not actually Toyota being interested in purchasing Nikola. That was conjecture. So it is possible that a company could come along and say, hey, we like what they're doing with hydrogen and we like what they're doing with the semis, we'll buy them or we'll put in an offer. If more than one company was doing that at the same time, that'd be really good, because then they have to keep upping the price and fight for it. Toyota would be a good company to be looking at Nikola, as Toyota is already heavily invested in hydrogen because they have hydrogen cars, and there would be a sharing of technology and possibly very beneficial to both. But the reality is that there is no truth to Toyota buying out Nikola, though it still would be nice. Let's see. Companies with EV trucks can install solar roofs to help with the electricity bill. Yes, they can. They can pretty much just put in. It's really not enough. You can't get that much solar to recharge these batteries. It takes a lot of energy to recharge these batteries. 700 and so kilowatt battery pack would take an awful lot of solar panels, but it can offset it. And it would help with the electricity bill, much like you said. Nel Hydrogen had Q2 presentation last Thursday, and they said they are waiting for a location from Nikola for the electrolyzers to be installed. Well, Nikola has said that there's going to be 3 locations in California, but still has not announced their Arizona location. I'm still thinking that there's a good possibility that they will put one here at the Coolidge site. At least something, because it's going to take a while to build. So by the time they start rolling off the line with the FCEVs, they're either going to have to get hydrogen shipped in for every truck, because you can't even start it up without having a tank full of hydrogen. Why is the CEO retiring? I have not heard anything specific about why he's retiring, but he's not being forced out. If he was being forced out, he would have been gone already. He's retiring at the end of the year. And Daniel says, why would Nikola sell? Nikola would not. Why would Nikola sell if the price of the offer was really high? And maybe the terms of the buyout works really well. Maybe because they would still be their independent company but share technology, much like you have, like GM owns Cadillac, they own Chevy, they own Buick. Maybe they could become their own entity under, like, say, Toyota, but then gain the technology. See, it makes more sense for a pipeline company or energy company to buy Nikola than, say, Toyota, in my opinion. Yeah, I can definitely see that, because they can really benefit from hydrogen and the sale of hydrogen. But it also benefits for a company like Toyota that's already into hydrogen. See, Gigi says, even if the Tesla Semi is 30% cheaper than Nikola due to linear manufacturing, they're still going to be over $250K. Agreed. Van Master Flash says solar roof box trailers would work. They would only work to a certain extent. They're only going to help. They're not going to be able to, in order to, all the solar panels that are in this front parking area. Okay, so let's go back to this. Let's find it. Where are we going? Let's go right here. Okay. This is how many solar panels it would take to charge the semi truck up. But it would take 1 hour for all of these panels at maximum capacity, meaning they're getting direct sunlight and there's no energy loss, which there will be, from the panels to the truck through all the little steps, because this is, I think, around 750 kilowatts. The battery packs in the semis are 750 kilowatts. So you need this much going for an hour to generate the electricity that was needed. And I guarantee you there's going to be huge losses going from there to the truck because of going through everything that it needs to. So solar panels are only going to help. They're definitely not going to offset. Let's see. It is awesome. Just want to see if that rumor had any legs. I wish it did. I think it would be pretty cool to. It would just, even if it turned out not to be true, or they didn't make a deal, I think it would still be good for Nikola stock, because it would give them a sense of legitimacy. Just like when GM and Nikola got together, and then Trevor blew it because he lied about everything, and GM backed out. Obviously, when GM hooked up with Nikola, it helped, and when they backed out, it hurt. But GG, installing mega chargers, as Tesla stated, to meet the charging times will prove to be a major challenge. Imagine gas stations having to install 10 megawatts of power. You are correct. They're going to have to be running some serious cable. Well, they've got the equipment. Tesla is an energy company, has been developing this stuff for a while. They've got their mega chargers out there, and they've got the 250 kilowatt chargers, and I've used them before, and you charge pretty quick. So let's see. Rick and Mitch, peace out. Yeah, Penny mentions that they expect that the hydrogen stations are expected to be completed by the end of quarter 4 2023. Yeah, it's a little later than I thought. All right, so old man is throwing out some stats at me. Let's start the video back up. Nikola Tre 753 kilowatt battery, 350 mile range, 46.46 kilowatts per mile. Tesla Semi truck, 500 mile range. Tesla Semi truck should have 1,072 kilowatt battery pack. Tesla Semi truck got to cost 500,000 plus. Well, we'll see. We're just gonna have to see. Guys are getting well into this video, pretty deep. It's almost time to go, but I do want to mention that we've got another live stream starting in an hour. Whoa. It's going to be Brian and I doing fast charging with B&B, and we talk about all things EV, not just Nikola. So if you guys are around, come back in an hour, get on the channel. I want to thank everyone who's commented. We've had a lot of comments today, a lot of good conversation with myself, because I'm the only one really talking. But come back in an hour. Fast charging with B&B. We're talking about all sorts of EV stuff today. We've got another big list, and we go from about 4 to 5 o'clock Pacific time. That's an hour from now. So I'm going to get off this one and prepare for the next one. I want to thank everyone for being here. And yes, there is a Lucid Flyover, which will be posted soon. So that will definitely be happening. So hopefully I'll see you guys in a little bit. Come back in an hour, and we'll continue this conversation. All right, so everyone, thanks for watching. It was good talking to you.